Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel. I decided to start a YouTube channel to discuss intuitively guided messages that I felt would really benefit people who are listening, to help them cultivate more Zen in their life. And this is a particular message that's kind of near and dear to my heart in the sense that I have a lot of experience to speak on this topic, and it's something I really felt led to share for the last few weeks, and I've made multiple attempts to post a video about this, but for whatever reason things would come up and I'd get thwarted from doing it. And I just really felt I really have a heavy heart right now because I really feel a lot of people are dealing with toxic relationships, and depending on the severity of the situation with this toxic individual, you really could be potentially putting yourself in harm's way if you are not careful and are refusing to look at the truth of the situation that you are in. And the reason it relates to cultivating Zen is that you can't have peace and joy and love and bliss and just harmony if you have a toxic relationship of somebody close to you that you are allowing to contribute a lot of energy exchange between you and that other person. Now, toxic people exist all over the place, and that doesn't mean that they need to be affecting you if you don't allow it. And a lot of times we get out of toxic relationships or we cut ties with people that are toxic and we can heal and it doesn't impact us anymore. But I'm talking about the situations that we are in potentially that could still be causing us harm and causing us disharmony and a lack of peace and potentially even putting us in harm's way. And the theme is everything counts. It's just, I believe, time to really assess and take a look at everything in your life, every relationship that you have, and really get to the point where you understand that everything matters. The conversations that you would have with people matter, the friendships that you have, the relationships that you have, the family dynamics that you allow, the people that you choose to sleep with sexually, people you get in business with and exchange money with, like, everything matters. Everything that we do is an energy exchange between two people. And when you allow an energy exchange between you and another person in those areas that I mentioned, that doesn't add a comprehensive list, it could be more than that. You're allowing there to be an exchange between the two of you. And so you're basically opening up the door for anything that other person is and who they are to come into your life, into your energy space, into your daily dynamics, your sacred space, your home, your heart, your soul. And it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And in the past, we could have possibly been surrendering denial and refusing to accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. I really feel like we're called to really take a look right now at the relationships that we have, especially the intimate ones. I really feel right now this is really strong romantic relationships, but it could also be business partners, friends, family dynamics. And it can be really, really hard to take a look at the people around us because we don't want to believe that somebody that we love or claims to love us could be doing us harm in any way. But I'm going to be really clear. Abuse is not love. And I'm going to speak on this a lot. Like, whenever you allow mistreatment of yourself and you create a toxic pattern or dysfunction, one time somebody doing something to us, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like repeated patterns of somebody taking our power away, somebody taking advantage of us, somebody taking our money, using us for their own gain, somebody lying to us, manipulating us, trying to control us, trying to stop our free will, saying things and doing things to manipulate a situation that don't really have our best interest in mind. And like you may get that gnawing feeling deep within that something's off, and you may not listen to it, and you may really not want to see, or it may not be the right time for you to see. I really believe some things happened in my life that it just wasn't the right time for my eyes to be open. But then when I couldn't handle it anymore and I was really just suffering, my heart and my soul and my mind, like my life was just out of whack and I needed answers, I started to actually ask and like kind of cry out for like the truth. I just wanted to know the truth. So if you're not in a place right now where you want to see truth, then this may not apply to you, but maybe it's coming to you at the right time, that it is now time to see truth. I didn't have anybody coaching me on what abuse was, emotional abuse or psychological abuse or mental abuse or financial abuse or spiritual abuse. I really didn't understand that word. I mean, I kind of thought of it as like, oh, like really, really toxic, crazy people, like serial killers and stuff like that, you know, sexual abuse, pedophiles. Like, I didn't really understand that it could happen, even on just like the emotional, spiritual, psychological level. And honestly, sometimes those kinds of abuses are really, really more damaging because they can really diminish who we are at a soul level, and it can really cause us to have illusions about our own self, our own worth, our own sense of being in the world and how we relate to the world, and really can break down, like, to really help us really be in illusions and live in illusions and not truth of our own self and our own situation. And a lot of times we don't understand that these people do that on purpose. They keep us trapped in illusions and lies and manipulation and control because they don't want they don't want us to leave them. They don't want us to get enough power to go out and be strong and bold and courageous and like know who we are and be confident in who we are, because we'll probably leave their sorry butts if we know who we are. If we're being and allowing ourselves to be in toxic situations and that person is like using us for sex, taking our money from us, like lying to us, manipulating us, like kind of trying to get us to, stay away from our friends and family, and like turning the tables on us every time we bring up something that we're hurt about, crying wolf, like fake tears. Like, if they break, it's like a slow drip of like toxicness that you don't even realize is happening. But once you start allowing that, you're basically allowing like permanent damage to take place. And I'm in a really amazing class right now to study the soul and how trauma and abuse and everything and allowing limiting beliefs and like toxicity and negative patterns and vows we make to people, whether said or just implied, can really affect our soul. We can actually experience soul loss. We're like, if something was so traumatic for us, we can actually like almost like amputate a part of our soul to keep us from experiencing that pain. And that's not a good thing to experience that, because our soul is what helps us the decisions that we make either get us closer in line to who we are at a soul level or keep us further away. And the further away we are from a soul level, like the less source energy, divine energy we will get. Sorry about that. My battery is saying low. I already did a video on this and I really kind of felt like I needed to change it a little bit, so I'm doing it again. This is like the third attempt, I'm not kidding, to do this video. I've been feeling for a few weeks to do it and I've kept getting thwarted off. Last week I was going to post a video on this and I ended up getting an emergency call at my work and I had to leave and got cut off. And then today, even like I'm getting a lot of blocks. Even today when I was feeling like doing this message and I was wanting to pull cards regarding it, the decks were really stuck. They were really resistant to shuffle. Like I had a hard time, like when you're choosing to look at the illusions at your life and you take that step, that brave step to take a really hard, cold look at yourself, your life, the people in it, and you want to really face the illusions, there can be a lot of resistance because your ego can come up and really fight against it, because it's like a lot of times lifelong conditioning that you've been choosing to stay in. Family dynamic, like generational beliefs that you've had about yourself and your imbalances in your masculine and feminine energy, like lies that you allowed to believe about what a good spouse would be or a parent or what love is and isn't. Like you may have never even really experienced real love. And so you think it's okay if it's just an exchange for money or sex or whatever, and it's shallow and superficial and like. And then a lot of times, we go along like that and like something will happen in our life. We'll meet somebody else that will trigger like an awakening of like, okay, that's not what it maybe is supposed to be. Maybe I'm supposed to look at this differently. And like, those kinds of toxic patterns, people like that, they're not meant to stay in our life forever. Eventually something has to happen to open our eyes. And some people still choose to close their eyes and stay. And staying is your choice. Nobody can do anything to you without your permission. We all have free will. We all have a choice to stay. People come into our life to teach us things, and sometimes those were like soul agreements that we made long ago, but that doesn't mean that we don't have free will to break free from those things. We're not stuck. We may feel we're stuck. Somebody may tell us we're stuck. We may be told if you do this, that's going to happen. You may be told you're going to lose all your money if you leave. You may be told like you're shaming the family, like, you know what I mean? But you're choosing to allow those things to be truth to you. Nobody can do anything to us without our permission. And it's when we decide, yeah, that must be true, that it becomes dangerous. And a lot of times relationships like that are toxic are there to help you learn lessons and to help you grow. And staying in them, I'm not kidding, can be very, very dangerous, not only to your mental health, your psychological health, but also your physical body. Sometimes, depending on the severity of the toxicity of the situation, some people can use very, very drastic measures. They choose to use drastic measures to keep you to keep you feeling stuck, to keep you feeling confused. And I really believe somebody out there needs to hear this message, that they may be in harm's way, that they really need to take a hard, cold look and really ask for truth of their situation. I believe somebody is in a really toxic dynamic, that they're potentially getting harmed, and a plan to physically harm them could be setting in place, or their food or drink could be being tampered with with a substance to keep them feeling stuck. I really needed to say that. I don't know who that's for. I have my suspicions, and I know this kinds of things have happened to other people. I know of situations that this has happened, so it doesn't sound far-fetched to me. Even people going as far as like hiring somebody to do black magic and spells and things like that to keep people to stay right where they are. I know that sounds really bizarre and really crazy. I barely understand that realm myself, but it happens depending on the severity of how dangerous and toxic and cruel that person is, especially if you're starting to get brave and powerful and know your worth and speak up. That's when it gets really dangerous with toxic, abusive people. They do not want you to leave. They still may need you for something. Their plan, to take from you whatever they were going to gain from you, sex, money, security, whatever it is, they want to keep their plan in place, and they want you to stay right where you are, and you are trying to break free potentially from that, and you have free will to do that. And so that's when it can get a little dangerous. So we're being asked right now, in the past we might have struggled to surrender denial, and in the present we're really being asked, I feel right now, to use discernment, to develop the skill to distinguish love from fear and truth from illusion. And if you're sick of a toxic dynamic you may be in, like if you're recognizing this is just a loop that just keeps playing over and over and again, and I don't think it's going to be different ever, like you really can ask for truth of your situation and trust and know that you will get it. And sometimes you get the rude awakening because you didn't heed the warning all along. You knew something was off and you didn't take action towards changing anything. And so sometimes you get the rude awakening. I can say from experience on that's happened to me. But that rude awakening is what honestly I needed to really be able to cut ties with certain individuals. And really, we're abusing ourselves by staying. Anytime we continue to stay in toxic dynamics, we are allowing someone else to take our power. We are allowing someone to not let us speak our truth. We are allowing somebody to use our love and our affection and our attention and our bodies for their own gain, and not receiving and giving love and exchange energetically evenly. We are really abusing ourselves, and we really can do a lot of damage to our heart and our soul and our mind. It can be really, really hard to climb out of that fog that you put yourself in. And some people just don't belong in your life. That's just the truth of the matter, and they weren't meant to stay forever, and that's okay. That's okay. We're really, I believe, taught so much in society and with our religious beliefs a lot of times that we just need to stay. We need to put up with it. We need to we made the bed, we need to lie in it. I really just don't believe that. I believe that's really dangerous and really toxic, and I really believe that puts people in harm's way, especially if they're being abused. Men and women are being abused. And by talking like that to them, you're basically asking them to stay stuck, and you're enabling more toxic behavior to exist in that family dynamic. And if there's children involved, the children are going to learn what they live, and you're just going to encourage them to create more toxicity in their life for generations to come. Like, somebody needs to break that cycle, and no one showed me any of this or help me understanding of this. I had to learn all this on my own in the hard way. And so if you have no one in your life speaking truth to you about toxicity and abuse, I hope that I can be that voice of truth for you. I really just do seek a lot of truth for my own self. Like, why did I believe that about myself? Why did I let that person do that to me? Why did I stay so long? Like, what about me? What I believe helped me, stay? What about my own ego that allowed me to stay that in those kinds of situations? And really, it's someone else's perception of us that we adopt as our own. Do we really believe we're not worthy of love? Do we really believe that love is money, that we need to, stay and sacrifice and do vows of like pain and suffering in order to be worthy? Or you know what I mean? Like, what do we really believe? We're a terrible parent if we decide to break free from a toxic relationship? Like, I struggle with all those things myself, and I was forced out of my situation, and thank God. I don't know that I was trying to get the strength to leave some of my dynamics, and then I just had to let the tower fall, and like rude awakenings had to happen for me. But I really believe we do have the power to let go of negative energy within and around us, making space for the positive and healthy. We do have a choice. I mean, and if we're dealing with adults that are behaving this way, know that that other adult who's toxic also has a choice. I really get disturbed when I hear people lumping abusive partners in with mentally ill individuals who have some kind of mental capacity. Yeah, we can argue something's not right and imbalance with these people, but they also have the choice. And the thing is that most of the times those people, their soul made a decision to stop receiving like soul energy and to really be aware of their soul and conscious of their choices, so much so that they stopped receiving, like they cut off from like their soul and only can derive energy then from other people. They literally exist by taking from other people. And they can turn that around by making a positive choice in a different direction and slowly start to heal those patterns and like decide, some people are just really terrible about being human. They're just terrible humans, okay? But they can decide, I want to be a better human. Like, instead of controlling and manipulating and putting, wishing ill will on that person to keep them with me, or from going forward without me, or to having abundance that I feel like is mine by latching my trailer to them, whatever it is, they can make a choice in a different direction and be like, I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to be a terrible human. I'm actually going to try to do something positive. I'm going to actually try to heal. Maybe work on myself. Okay. We have to stop making excuses for people like that. We have to stop thinking we need to fix them. We have to stop making, taking ownership and responsibility for their choices. They are adults. Okay. I'm not talking about kids that have, issues and that are working through some things. I'm talking about grown-ass adults that we feel responsible for their choices. We are not responsible for someone else's behavior. They're grown adults, okay? And so many people have been through horrible things in their life and still don't turn out to be shitty human beings, okay? Because those people decided, I'm not going to let that pain hurt me. I'm not going to let that anger get the best of me. I'm not going to allow what happened to me and turn it on someone else and do that same thing so they feel the pain I felt. I mean, we all have those choices, and we may go through seasons where we're more resentful and like bitter and angry, but I'm talking about a difference between going through a tough season because you've been through some things and acting like an asshole because you've been through some things and you're in pain, than somebody who habitually consistently, that is who they are at a core level. They have no integrity. They do lie, manipulate, and use people for their own gain. And they enjoy it. They enjoy it because they believe they deserve it. That person believes they should be able to do whatever they want to get their own gain. It's very dangerous, okay? I'm very serious right now. And like I said, what you allow becomes kind of a habit, and sometimes it's permanent damage. It's like tattooing on your heart. It's like, how can you scrub like a tattoo on your arm? Like, how can you get rid of that? It's become ingrained in you, and you can, and it requires a lot of soul healing and heart healing. And I'm in this course to be a certified practitioner and helping people understand themselves at a soul level where traumas have happened, where limiting beliefs that they've allowed to continue to operate in their programming of allowing them to get off whack, out of alignment. I can actually see soul loss, like when you've gone through some trauma. I can see and access like the chakras that have been affected by your pain And I can help people like heal those things at a subconscious level. And I didn't realize it, but I already did a lot of this work on I realized today, like, oh my gosh, I've already done all this on my own self, because I'm a very introspective person. I'm very consciously aware of my choices. Like, once I went through this journey, it was like an awakening of like not being in denial anymore and discerning things, and realizing I am worthy. Like, I am enough and I'm worthy of receiving everything I desire. I do not need to prove myself to those who would seek to diminish me. I am worthy. And I got out of the dark. And like this card says, get your head out of your ass pronto. It's dark and you can't see a fucking thing. Sorry, effing thing. Once I got out of the dark and I really started to see this, yeah, shit hit the fan and it was really dark. And I couldn't see a thing, but it was still getting out and walking and finding my way, navigating through the dark was still better than being and having the light illuminated on all these illusions that I was living in. And like learning that I was living in fear-based, nasty energy and not love. And that person, you know, sometimes people, we don't want to see it because it's painful to think somebody that we love or that is supposed to love us could do these kinds of things to us. But we really need to ask ourselves, like, what love is. Like, why do you love that person? What about that person do you love? What about that person, what they give you is loved back to you? Like, oftentimes if we really get out of denial and we really assess and think and like contemplate the situation, we'll realize, oh my gosh, like I really wasn't in a loving relationship. What was that? It was like a lot of times codependency issues, a lot of times agreements that you made to stay for stability. You made decisions out of like what society wanted for you, your family, what you felt like you would be judged if you did something different. Like I said, codependency for money. You didn't know what love really was, possibly. Maybe you've never been shown it. Maybe you only saw dysfunction in your past, in your childhood, and that's all you know. And it's like a rude awakening when you were like, oh my gosh, like, holy shit, that was like really effed up, like what I was in. And why was I in that? Oh my gosh, because that's what I was taught was normal, like maybe generational patterns or like societal things, like, or your religion even. Religion too can be very dangerous, I feel, for people in abusive situations. A lot of times women and men, I feel especially bad for men because I still feel like we shame men for speaking up about their feelings. There's still a lot of toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, to be honest with you, where men feel like they can't be honest about their feelings. Even still children, I feel like, are being told and shamed for their emotions. I mean, it's amazing when you watch a little kid, like how early on they can start to become very, hide who they really are and their true feelings. Like I have a little guy who's really struggles eating meat, and like he gets a lot of flack for that in some of our family members. And like, I just feel bad. Like I don't want him to ever violate his own integrity, and anybody that really loves you would not want you to violate your own integrity and not want to control your free will and to manipulate you into getting to stay. I mean, that's not love. That's abuse. Abuse is not love. And a lot of times we think like, well, I love that person. I can't leave because I love that person. Do you really love that person? Or are you possibly addicted to that person? Did you allow yourself to continue to keep energy exchanging with them, that you became like addicted to that? That is a real thing. It's called trauma bonding. And I can speak on a lot of this because I have experience in a lot of this. I have a support group. But know that it's no joke, okay? It's no joke. And you may not get the advice you need from your friends. You may need to listen to a damn professional. I'm not saying I'm a professional, but I have lived experience. But it says ask a effing expert. Don't rely on your friends or the internet. Listen to a damn expert. I really believe, like, if you are in a toxic dynamic like that, you really need to decide if you want to stay or go. And if you decide to go, be very careful. It can get really dangerous as you get out. Shit can really hit the fan. Because when a person starts to realize they're losing control and you're gaining power and you're understanding your worth, like, their ego is going to resist you going, and they sometimes can do really drastic things. So be careful, very, very careful. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Everything counts. And normal, healthy individuals, even in a breakup, will be level-headed enough to share equally in the responsibility with the kids and the finances and not make life a shit show if you have to go to court or break up or divide assets or, like, you know, move out of the house and share the dog and, like, you know what I mean? Normal, healthy individuals, even in a breakup, even in a nasty breakup, even if there's been, like, a lot of, cheating or whatever nasty things, can still do that breakup and separation like healthily, okay, without trying to destroy another person's life. And I'm just saying there's some people that don't choose that path, okay? And that is not your responsibility. You're responsible. You are here to create your own experience and to know who you are and what your divine self is saying. And your intuition is how your soul speaks to you. So if you've got that nudge of something that's off, it's probably because it's off. And you may need to get an expert to help you decipher, and a trusted friend who can help you decipher between truth and illusion in your life. And a lot of times a mentor can be really great for that because they have a lived experience in this. But remember, it can be painful to get out of that because it's a lot of core wounds that possibly kept you stuck and staying in there. But that situation will continue to keep hurting you, and I'm not kidding you, it's like soul sucking, okay? And because it literally is. That person, that energy exchange, that drain, that it's gonna like continuing to drain you of your energy. And because you continue to stay in that negative pattern that goes against your soul, like it's not okay to be in those kinds of situations. That's not love. That's not a like divine, you're who you meant to be at a divine core level. That's not an alignment with who you are at a soul level. Let's just say that. Every day that you choose to stay, you're creating more and more patterns of dysfunction, and it will take a lot more work to get right, okay? But also to thank your angels for well-timed guidance and signs and synchronicities. That picture is really beautiful too. It's the yin and yang. It's the perfect balance. And know that like it's time to go sometimes, okay? It's just, if you're willing to look at the truth, sometimes it's just time to go. And this is actually a man and a woman in here. Actually, is it? No, it's two women. So it's about the balance. You can't have balance and peace in your life if you stay in those kinds of dynamics that are up and down, that are hot, cold, that are on, off. Like that's what's addictive. That push, that pull, it's like a drug. And some people are actually, like I said, using substances on their person to keep them stuck, to keep them confused. So please, if you're in a situation, I'm asking you to take a real look at all areas of your life right now to see where you may be manipulated, even physically. Okay, I'm serious. I'm serious. I got a really strong message about this, and I've been really struggling with how to get this out, and I feel like it's for someone out there, and I know of these kinds of things happening to people, black magic and things like that. But nobody can force you to stay. You are choosing to stay stuck. You are choosing to stay connected. You are choosing to stay for whatever reason, stability, for the children, for your lack of self-worth, for worry about that other person, their own mental health. It's not your responsibility to worry about them. And honestly, the more you stay, the more you enable them to stay stuck too. Because like I said, everybody has free will. Unless you have a gun to your head or you're mentally incapacitated in some reason, we all have free will. Even the toxic, nasty ones that we think are unstable because they got issues and we feel bad for them, they too have free will. They can at any point decide not to be a shitty human being that day and not do the evil thing that they were going to do and the cruel thing and do the nice, kind thing, okay? It may take a lot of little steps to get out of that cycle themselves, but the longer you stay, you're enabling that for themselves too, and you're enabling the dysfunction in your family and your children, the patterns. You're just basically continuing those toxic cycles if you don't stand up and for yourself. And I'm not telling you to go or stay. I'm just trying to make you aware of what abuse is, and abuse is not love. And the more and more you allow it, you're allowing it by staying, by not speaking up, by not knowing your truth, by not going towards things that are loving and truthful and honest and good. And you're allowing to believe their baloney, okay? Enough is enough. Somebody's got to stop. I feel like I was just kind of like told, enough is enough. Okay, enough is enough. And if you don't go, you're gonna get more and more rude awakenings. I've experienced that too. Not going, not heeding the call, not trusting your intuition. Eventually, you create just such a pattern of dysfunction that it's really hard to get out of it. And like, I know because I was, I kind of went through the journey and it was like, oh my gosh, like, I got myself into this. It's going to be really hard to get out, but you know that you can, and you should, if you're in this kind of dynamic, because it's just going to be a slow death for you otherwise. And you may already feel it. You may just feel like at a soul level, just tired and drained. It's not going to stop. Really ask yourself, if I keep going, am I going to really get peace out of this, joy, contentment, success, or do I choose a different path and try to break out of this cycle of these lies and these illusions and break away from people that are toxic? You're the only one that can do that. And people are watching. Your little ones are watching. People around you are watching. And I'm here to tell you, like, if no one else has ever shown you and been real with you about this kind of thing. I'm here to speak it, I guess. And if you need help, if you've left an abusive situation or toxic situation, I commend you. I know it takes a lot of courage and bravery to get out, and that potentially could have been dangerous. And I just commend you for taking that step. And if you're struggling healing, it's okay, and know that you're breaking each day. You break down more and more illusions, and the more that you can drop into truth of like what is really true, that you do deserve love, that you are worthy, that you can have peace and joy, and not allow that other person to continue to take power from you. It's a healing journey, and I can help you with that. I've done the work on my own, and I have actually a protocol to do it to help people at a soul level heal these traumas and wounds and limiting beliefs and blocks once and for all at the subconscious level. You don't even need to bring it up. I feel like it's really dangerous to dredge up traumatic experiences for people in therapy and stuff like that. It can be very dangerous. I am so proud to have been shown this work. I was actually asking for that because I get into a lot of conversations with people. It's just who I am, and I like to dig in the truth of my own life, and I very easily get into conversations with other people where it's like very deep conversations, like basically shining a mirror on what's true and what's not true. And I have no problem asking some people, why did you believe that lie that they told you, and why is that still haunting you after 4 years? And then, like, I was playing bar dice with somebody one time at a bar, and I meet this new girl, and we're talking, and she was like, oh, that guy across the bar over there, you looked like they had a cute little banter between them and like eye contact. And she's like, if someday, in a couple years from now, we may end up together. And I'm like, well, why aren't you guys together right now? And she was like, because I'm emotionally unstable. And I was like, oh, well, why are you, why? And because I had an abusive partner. Oh, how many years ago was that? Okay, because he said this and he said that. And before you know it, we're in this deep conversation, and she's crying because something that had happened to her 4 years ago is still haunting her and keeping her from living the life. But this other person that truly cared for her, you could tell they had a really cute banter, love, like a genuine affection and love towards one another. She couldn't go towards that because she was still effed up from what that relationship 4 years ago did, because she didn't do the healing work. She was believing those lies and illusions even still after leaving. It's serious, you guys. It's so serious what I'm saying. Don't let other people's perceptions of you and the things that they've told you and the illusions about your life affect you forever. Learn to break the pattern, to get out. If you're in that toxic dynamic, you have a choice. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. And if they are, get help, professional help. Like, seriously, there are shelters and things like that for that kind of abuse, okay? I'm speaking about the mental, emotional stuff. You may feel stuck. You're really not. You may feel like you have no choices. That's not true. You do. You are choosing to stay. Every day, you're choosing to give your power away. Every day. Don't let love blind you. And let these people and these dynamics and these situations that have happened to you, let them be lessons of what you don't want, and let it be the fuel that motivates you to move forward to what you do want. Some things don't belong in your life forever, and that's okay. It's okay, because you know what? It shows other people how you want to be treated, and it shows your children and others around you who may also struggle with codependency issues and struggling to speak their truth and to know their power and their worth. It shows them, wow, they got out. Maybe I can too. And it's a fight. It's a fight every day for your soul to get out, okay? And I'm still learning a lot about, like, in ways I was impacted of things getting taken from me that I allowed to get taken from me, and still healing over that, with how cruel it really was and how much it damaged me. And I'm not going to say I'm damaged, no. How much it affected me, how much I let it affect me, and why. Why am I believing any of that still? And, like, how it's going to impact me forward in my relationships with trust and showing and giving and love and equal energy exchange and things like that. It's really shown a light onto my life and what I want and don't want, and like will help me have healthy dynamics going forward, and to show other people, my children, of like how to stand in their power and speak their truth and have integrity in the choices that they make, and to break from like societal conditioning and generational conditioning, all that jazz. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I'm at 34 minutes. Holy bananas. But everything counts, really does. Everything counts. Every energy exchange, every relationship, every agreement we get into, every job we take. Even jobs. Like, we get into a job and we love it and it provides us, but then all of a sudden the job is doing things that are out of alignment with who we are. Maybe there's doing some deceitful things. and we're now at a conflict with our own integrity. The more we continue to stay even in that, knowing things are not right, not in alignment with who we are, and the more we continue to stay, that also creates blocks within our soul journey and will create blocks to abundance, because we are out of alignment with who we really are and not standing up for truth. And we go along with it, and we're creating like a block to source energy and like who we are and things like that. We're creating a block there by staying in things we know don't have integrity or off or not operating truthfully and honestly. Just take a look at your relationships, romantic, business, friendships, familial, and to let go of situations that are hurting us. It's okay to do that. It's not selfish. It's not greedy. And if you feel selfish and greedy or shameful for whatever reason, ask yourself why. Why do you feel shameful for standing up for yourself? Who told you that? Where did that come from? Did you make it up? Did somebody else put that on you? Ask yourself those questions. And if you have a hard time being introspective like that, reach out to me. I can help you with that. I'm really, really good at that. If you're not ready to know your truth, then don't. Okay? But I hope this resonated with somebody, and know that anytime you receive guidance for your heart and soul, it's meant for you at the time you receive it. Like, for instance, this morning I follow a lot of certain people on YouTube, readers and things like that, and like I came across a video that was very, very pertinent to my situation today, and I took a look later and like, oh my gosh, that was made 5 months ago. It didn't matter. Those kinds of messages are timeless, and you will receive what you need to receive at the right time. Just trust that. And if any of this triggered you, I'm sorry, not sorry, okay? Because somebody needs to speak truth into your life if no one has before. And if you know this innately deep down that something's off, and you know the truth and you don't want to look at it, just please know how dangerous it is by you staying. It's a very big deal. Everything counts. And if you allow yourself to stay, you literally could have the life sucked out of you. I'm not kidding. The energy exchange, giving away your power to toxic energy like that, eventually you're making all these negative choices. You're blocking off from receiving energy. You won't survive very long like that. Let me just tell you that. You won't. We need energy, and that's why these people are like energy vampires and these toxic people. They've chosen to block themselves off from that energy, and you're basically choosing it too by staying. You're choosing to put yourself in harm's way, and they are too. And that's why they take from people. They take because that's how they survive. They basically leech off of people. And if you really want to help that person and really want to care about that person, walk away from them and stop enabling that behavior, and allow them a chance to heal themselves, to look within, they probably won't, and it's not your responsibility to do that. But that would be the only way to really actually help somebody like that, to walk away and stand up for what you believe and say, no more am I going to behave in this. I'm no more going to participate in this toxicity. I'm walking away. You do you. I'm going to do me. And that person may go through quite a big ego thing, okay? And they may even have towers that fall depending on how resistant they are to change as well. Towers being like major life events that kind of like shake you to your core. And that may be the only thing that will change these people. And sometimes it's the only thing that wakes you up too, these rude awakenings. And I'm just saying, don't let it get to that point of danger of your own mental, physical, spiritual health. I mean, there's people that will set people up in court. The people that try to take their kids away when they're losing their power and their control. If they're hiding money, like they will do whatever they have to do to protect that. They'll try to make up stories about you, that you're the abusive one, to try to take that all from you. I mean, it gets very serious with these people. Not everybody is at that level, but like there is that potential when you're dealing with toxicity. There is that potential that it could go very, very bad. And as much as you try to control and stay because you think it's going to be more comfortable and safe for everybody, it's not. It's just building up more and more power to potentially be very, very life-shattering. And I just don't want that for you. So, okay, people lie, energy doesn't lie, okay? If you're feeling off and your energy and your intuition is sensing something, trust that. People lie, energy does not lie, okay? I hope you have a good day. Sorry about this heavy message. I hope somebody out there receives it and will seek the help they need and the truth that they need, and understand how dangerous it is to stay in situations that are damaging at all levels. Okay, awesome. Have an awesome day. Many blessings. Take care. Bye.